Welcome to this 7-minute explainer. Today, we're going to completely dismantle something we literally all take for granted: sleep. We need to stop looking at it as just some passive downtime or an annoying biological sign that your body is switching off for the night. Instead, we are going to build a wholesome, first principles understanding of sleep as a highly active, totally non-negotiable process. Seriously, it's time to rethink everything you thought happened when you close your eyes.
There's this famous saying in biology: if sleep were just downtime, evolution would have gotten rid of it. And, well, it didn't. Evolution is incredibly ruthless. Mother Nature just doesn't tolerate wasted time or energy, right? So the simple fact that we spend a full third of our lives completely unconscious and totally vulnerable to predators is our very first clue that sleep is absolutely not a luxury. It's not just a habit. It is a fundamental condition for functioning at all.
So, here's our agenda for today's explainer. 1. The myth of downtime. 2. The maintenance shift. 3. 5 problems solved. 4. Operating modes. And 5. The identity shift.
Let's dive right into part 1, the myth of downtime. Here's the fundamental rule I want you to keep in mind for this whole explainer. Wakefulness is for doing. Sleep is for preserving. When you're awake, your brain and body are spending immense amounts of energy on perceiving the world, making continuous decisions, and just moving around. But that awake state comes with a really heavy physiological cost. We're talking about physical wear and tear on your cells, metabolic junk piling up in your brain, and tons of sensory noise overwhelming your nervous system. You simply cannot keep running at 100% forever without breaking down.
Which brings us to section 2, the maintenance shift. Think of a busy city apartment, or imagine a massive retail showroom after a crazy, exhausting day of sales. When the doors finally lock, the lights might dim, but the building isn't just sitting there doing nothing. The real work actually begins. The cleaning crews come in with floor buffers, inventory gets restocked, and the broken displays get fixed. The space is actively doing the hidden work required to even be usable tomorrow. Your body works the exact same way. It's not shutting down. It's simply closing the showroom to the public so the real internal maintenance can kick off.
So, what's actually happening during that closed period? Let's hit section 3, 5 problems solved.
Here is your rapid-fire roadmap for the exact biological pressures sleep fixes: clearing overload, body repair, memory stability, resetting sensitivity, and balancing energy. Let's break these down one by one.
Problem number 1 is overload. You know that feeling when your smartphone has been heavily used all day? It's literally burning hot in your hand, the screen is lagging, and the battery is in the red. It's completely choked up with temporary files and background apps fighting for processing power. Well, sleep clears that exact kind of overload for your brain. It forces your biological operating system to close those open tabs, purge the temporary files, and reorganize what actually matters so you can function cleanly tomorrow.
Problem 2 is body repair. Awake life is an active life, and wear and tear naturally accumulates: actual cellular waste and micro tears in your muscle fibers. Imagine a busy high-end fabrication workshop. During the day, tools are used, surfaces get covered in dust, and parts get randomly shifted around. If that shop never, ever closes, the mess just grows until the work becomes incredibly slow and unsafe. Sleep gives you that highly protected, secure maintenance window where deep cellular repair can happen without constant waking interruptions.
Next up, memory stability. Not every single experience you have during the day should be kept permanently. Your brain has to critically decide what gets strengthened and what gets deleted. Think of a librarian dealing with a massive, chaotic donation of books. If those books were just stacked randomly on the floor, the library would be utterly useless, right? The librarian has to meticulously categorize them so they can actually be found later. Sleep acts exactly like that librarian. It edits, compresses, and stabilizes your fleeting daily experiences into actual usable knowledge.
The fourth problem is resetting sensitivity. If your nervous system responded to every single stimulus at full intensity all the time, it would completely lose its precision. It's like having an audio microphone with the gain turned way, way too high. Eventually, all you get is painful distortion and screeching feedback. Sleep deliberately turns that biological dial back down. That is exactly why spilling a single drop of coffee feels like a literal world-ending catastrophe when you're running on 2 hours of sleep. Your nervous system just lost its baseline.
And the fifth problem sleep solves is energy balance. The brain is a super expensive organ that burns a massive share of your calories. Think of a heavy-duty power generator running in the middle of a neighborhood. If it runs 24/7 with absolutely no cooling period and no servicing, it's going to overheat and fail. The biological goal of the human brain isn't endless, relentless output. The goal is sustained, reliable output, and sleep is what protects that reliability.
Moving right along to Section 4, Operating Modes. Because remember, the brain never actually turns off. Think of the brain like a hyperactive control room. During the day, it is absolute chaos. Operators are frantically watching live screens, reacting to sudden sounds, looming deadlines, phone notifications. But at night, the brain completely shifts gears. It purposefully tunes out the outside world. This allows those same operators to literally turn their chairs around, face the back wall, and focus entirely on deep internal archiving and fixing damaged systems for the next shift.
When you compare these modes side by side, the shift is incredible. Awake mode is all about high external attention and exhausting, continuous decisions in the name of performance. But in sleep mode, we intentionally drop that external attention and drastically reduce our decision load to basically zero. It's a beautiful, purposeful shift from outward performance to inward maintenance.
To really picture this, imagine a crazy busy service office in Karachi handling hundreds of demanding customers. The frazzled staff is just trying to survive, the next person in line, the next complicated form. If that office never gets a mandatory closing time, the paperwork piles up, critical files get lost, and the whole system grinds to an agonizing halt. Even if everyone is working hard, the system fails. Sleep is that mandatory closing period for your brain. Without it, the internal paperwork of your biology will completely overwhelm you.
And that brings us to our fifth and final section, the identity shift.
Once you can truly see sleep as a complex, non-negotiable maintenance system, you can finally stop treating your daily limits as character flaws. If your focus drops in the afternoon, you don't just ask, why am I being lazy? You realize it's actual cognitive load. If your mood feels fragile, you don't instantly blame your personality. You recognize your nervous system just needs calibration. If you're learning slowly, you understand your memory literally needs time to settle. You are a living, breathing system that desperately needs maintenance to stay resilient.
So, here is the completely new perspective I want to leave you with. Next time you feel completely overwhelmed, unfocused, or irritable, stop agonizing over what's wrong with your willpower. Instead, take a step back and ask yourself this purely biological question. Has your system had enough time to reset? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep that showroom maintained, and I'll see you next time.